I'm ready, yeah. Warm welcome to Enniskeane for round 2 of the Bon Secures Premier Senior Football Championship as we get the second weekend of football underway. And the Titanic clash here we have this afternoon in Group B as Castlehaven take on Éire Og. Of course, both sides who have wins under their belts already, and we will be going through the team sheets very shortly because there are a couple of crucial changes to both sides. But firstly, let's hear from both camps. Momentarily, we will hear from Éire Og manager Harry O'Reilly. But firstly, let's head west to Castlehaven and hear from their manager, James McCarthy. So let's head west for this afternoon, and let's say a good afternoon to James McCarthy. James, thanks very much for joining us. I suppose I want to bring you back to the start of the season. I suppose it's a weird way to start by having a county final, and I suppose a bit harder than when you lose it as well in close circumstances.
Yeah, sure. Like I suppose we're living in unusual circumstances, with the COVID. So, yeah, look, it's very disappointing to lose the county final. But we parked it fairly fast, and we moved on to the Newcestown game. And I suppose, look, we're looking at it as last year's game, even though it was only a couple of weeks ago. We're on a different pathway now already.
And I suppose that was a great turnaround, a great character test for the team to turn around in 6 days. To win a tough game like that against Newcestown, who are a very hard team in their own right. It's a great way to bounce back after a county final loss.
Yeah, I suppose everybody was saying it was going to be hard, but I'm on record saying we had a good day Monday, and we parked it that night, and we trained Tuesday, and we had 40 fellas out in the pitch training, which was brilliant. And we were in good form all week, and again, as I said, players haven't been that socially together time, and we had a good weekend, and it had, and hopefully that be us going ahead. And yes, we had a good victory. We're always tough to beat, and there's never a kick of a ball in it.
And I suppose you're one of the clubs who've been hard affected this year because you've got the likes of Mark Collins, the two Hurley brothers, the three Cahalane brothers, all involved in Cork. So your preparations, I suppose, throughout the summer while the inter-county season was ongoing have been quite disrupted.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I suppose we trained very well, but we were never together only for about 5 days before the county final, which is, in normal circumstances, that'd be unheard of. So, yeah, maybe we're going to the county final with one hand behind our back, but we're not complaining about that afterwards. The better team won in the day. And look, we're very proud to have the lads representing Cork, but sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And look, everybody knows the club do suffer when you don't have your Cork lads around with you. It was different last year. We had them first, and then they went to the county, and we bonded well, and we had a good thing going, you could say, until the COVID stopped us up again.
And for the last 2 weeks, you've had all your footballers together. Obviously, the three Cahalanes have been with St. Finbarr's playing Hurley, featuring, of course, last Saturday night in that cracking finish against Erin's Own, that drawn game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. But how have things been going since that Newcestown game over 3 weeks ago?
Oh, very good. I think we're, again, not to be repeating myself, I think people are enjoying their football again now. The crowds are back. The people at training watching us. The kids are there. That's what the GA is all about, really, and I think the players are enjoying themselves. If you're winning, it's a bonus, of course, but not saying anything different to any other manager, but playing is the main thing that's happening at the moment. That everybody's out playing, and is the 26 championship games at the weekend. That's unreal, and especially in the format that we're in at the moment. That's knockout. Like every day you go out, it's nearly knockout. Even though we have 2 points in the bag, we could be in relegation next week, or we could be after qualifying for the quarter final.
I know you've mentioned the format, James. You are a GDA as well. I should probably ask you, what do you think of the format? I know Castlehaven, predominantly a football-only club, but from a county-wide point of view, from a player's point of view, how have you picked up What's the basis like down West Cork, playing both football and hurling week on week?
Look. I know it's harder than the lads, but I suppose you say we're football only, but we have 3 Cork men on the Cork team, like, so they're hurling, and I don't think they're complaining that much. It might be different with a full club team doing it, but then they enjoy the games and they're going from week to week. And if you can stay injury free, it's very enjoyable. And the big difference than before, you're playing, and you mightn't like the date, or you mightn't. There's something, but you have to plan around it. And the game is on Saturday at 2:00. Be there, turn up, play the match, and do your best and try to win. And you can plan your life around that then, instead of before. Oh well, we might be on in 3 weeks if Cork are knocked out. That was very hard in the club there.
So this afternoon we've got a big game against the Éire Og, of course, who won the Senior A football championship a couple of weeks ago. But you've got a full enough team going out this afternoon to face up against the Senior A champions. Yeah,
like we're facing a team that we haven't met before in championship, a team that are on the road now with a couple of years and are unbeaten in a couple of years, and that brings everything that I know what's good about sport, that it's momentum and confidence, and that's what they're going to bring the next day against us. And if we're not prepared today, we're going to be in trouble. Like.
So let's head back up towards the city now, up to Ovens, in fact, and let's say a good afternoon to Harry O'Reilly. And Harry, big game. You got off to a blinding start after winning 2 county finals in a matter of months. Come out then the following week in your Premier Senior debut and beat Carby Rangers 115 to 1-9 in some year for the Ovens club.
Fantastic year, fantastic. We're delighted. It was a project that's in the making for a couple of years, and to eventually get up to the top level of senior, we're delighted to be there. And to start off with a win was brilliant. It takes the pressure off a little bit.
You got off to, it was a blinding game, and you got really going so early in the game. You were not out of sight early, but you were out of sight a long way out.
Look, we were losing at half time against Carby Rangers. We were 3 or 4 points down at half time. We had a lot of possession, but we found it hard to score. I suppose a big difference was Jack Murphy came on. Jack wasn't fit to start, so we came on in the second half, and he kind of punched a few holes for us and opened up a bit of space, and we started to get the scores then. We won by 6 points in the end, but look, it was just to get the win was very important. If you lose the way the championship is structured, if you lose your first game, you're kind of under pressure. You're trying to avoid relegation at that stage. But if you get the win, you're looking upwards, and everyone has it's better motivation for everyone, I suppose.
And your 2 hurling matches, you got 2 wins. I know you're not directly involved, but you're there on the sideline as well, Harry. And it's been well, you've won your first match. You lost your second match last weekend, but so far it's been reasonably positive within the hurling camp as well.
Oh, it has, yeah. Like all the team that come down from senior, it was a big game for the lads. They were delighted to get off to a winning start. The management were over the moon to win that game. I suppose they went a good few points down last week against Carrigaline in a poor first half, but they came out and played very well in the second half and got the better of Carrigaline in the second half, but left too much work to do. So beaten by 7 points in the end. But I think that they'll have a fighting chance going into the last round as well against Corsies.
I know our lines are a bit cagey as we're doing this interview, but looking towards the game, a massive test for Éire Og this afternoon against one of the footballing greats over the last 50 years or so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look, this is where we wanted to be for the last number of years. So we're there now. We're up against the big boys. So the pressure's off our back a little bit because we won the first day. So we intend to go out and give it everything tomorrow. And look, we have a lot of good footballers. We have confidence in our own ability, and we give ourselves a fighting chance there tomorrow.
And you're playing such a great open brand of football. Like we saw it in the county final back in August. Joe and John Cooper, great stalwarts, and of course Daniel Goulding playing in the forward line as well. So like you've got great experience and some great youth players coming in through. Of course, Conor McGoldrick, who was part of the under-20 hurling squad as well.
Yeah, that's true. Conor was with the under-20 football squad, and Yeah, look, a lot of our lads have worn the Cork jersey over the last number of years, be it at minor, under 20, junior, senior, everything else. A fair share of them have worn the Cork jersey. So they have plenty of experience. We're a very young team. We're probably an average age of 23, 24. You have the two stalwarts thrown in there, Daniel Goodling and Dermot O'Hurley, lads that have been around a good few years. But them lads are in great condition as well. They're as fit as they ever were, and even fitter, maybe. We have plenty of pace throughout the team, and we try to open up spaces where we can and make use of that. So, yeah, look, we're where we want to be at this minute, and looking forward to it.
My thanks to Harry O'Reilly from Éire Og, and earlier on we caught up with James McCarthy from Castlehaven. And let's say a warm welcome to our co-commentator this afternoon, John Hayes. John, thanks very much for joining us. An interesting game, I suppose. You have seen Éire Og in the flesh, you saw, it was Éire Og in the flesh there last week, a couple of weeks ago, I should say. They beat yourselves by 6 points. So an impressive debut from the Oven side.
Yeah, very impressive. What I was impressed with most, I think, is their fitness levels. I think from both the football and the hurling, they obviously have a strong cohort that are playing both, and they're extremely fit. And it showed. I think there was only a point in that game with 10 minutes to go, whereas they pushed on and finished strongly. We didn't quite finish so well. So they're young, they're quite athletic, and then they have the experience of the likes of Daniel up front, and obviously Colm O'Callaghan at centre forward as well. So they're fit, athletic, and they've good forwards. So that'll take you a long way.
Yeah, of course, Castlehaven defeated us in the football final back in August, and James mentioned it. Just to get the first game out of the way, he felt it was like last year's competition when defeating Newcestown in the opening round, but always a tough team, Newcestown, who Carbery Rangers face tomorrow, of course. But for the Haven, they'll be looking to try and get 2 out of 2 on the board.
Yeah, and look, I think that was the big game for Castlehaven, was the first one back, and against Newcestown as well, where there would be a strong rivalry. Getting the 2 points on the board in the group system that you have makes a huge difference. The two teams here today, they're looking at it going, right, win this game and you've pretty much guaranteed you're going through, and you have a great chance of topping the group, maybe get 6 points and get to a semi-final. Whereas, for ourselves in Newcestown, having lost, there's a lot of pressure on tomorrow's game to make sure you get points on the board and you're not sucked into what could be a relegation scenario. So, these games with the new group system, there's something on all of them. It's a good system, and it provides, very serious, meaningful, competitive games for the teams. So, like I said, the two teams here today had positive starts, so they're both looking at it as this is a chance to win the group.
Okay, so let's have a look at the team sheets then for this afternoon. We turn to our left to see the Castlehaven team, who are in their bibs, just warming up in the match practice. And Rory Maguire and Ronan Walsh were key to Castlehaven holding out against Newcestown, their 5-point victory the last day. Damien Cahalan and Roland Wilton in the half-back line will have crucial roles as well to hold out the Éire Og half-forward line, while Mark Collins and Jamie Walsh contributed 2 points between them in that victory 3 weeks ago. Up front, of course, you got the two Hurley brothers, Brian Hurley and Michael Hurley, and Jack Cahalan, of course, the speedster, who has been very efficient for both the Bars and the Haven, contributing 8 points between the three of them. The one replacement is Conor Cahalan is out due to suspension, picking up a straight red card against Newcestown. David Wilton is in, wearing number 19. As for Éire Og, John Mullins and Conor McGoldrick again key once again for the Ovens Bay side, while the former Cork footballer Ronan O'Toole will have a big part to play in this game if he's going to be marking Mark Collins. Colm O'Callaghan contributed 2 points the last day, while Daniel Goulding scored 6 and Dylan Foley got that crucial goal to hold off Carbery Rangers. So we're not far away now, and of course our referee this afternoon is James Birmingham from the Bride Rovers Club in Rathcormac. A beautiful day for football. My first time here at St Mary's GA Club, John Hayes, and I must say the sod looks in incredible condition.
Yeah, it looks absolutely perfect. It's a great day for football. So it's getting quite warm now, actually. So both teams, again, look, fitness will tell a lot. Castlehaven, having been in the county final, will be fit from that. And like I said, the first game will stand to them a lot. Obviously, Éire Og had their own county final in the middle of summer, and in both hurling and football, fitness is definitely not an issue there. So warm day, dry day, hopeful for a good game of football. We've got players on both sides who are capable of playing excellent football. So, I'm looking forward to it, and it should be a very competitive affair.
Of course, one of the key men for Éire Og, Owen O'Shea, is out due to a hamstring. They ripped off the bone during the summer. Jack Murphy, of course, is the one change from the last day when they defeated Carbery Rangers, replacing Michael Corcoran. Himself and Ronan O'Toole are going to have an influential part to play here to try and hold out Castlehaven.
Yeah, well, see, the middle eight is an area where Éire Og are quite strong, and they did very well at midfield against us. John Cooper at centre back as well is also a big player for them, but Jack Murphy didn't start in the game against us a couple of weeks ago. I think he was carrying a slight injury, but he came on with 20-25 minutes to go, and he made a big impact. He's got athleticism to get around the pitch, and he's clever in the use of the football when he gets it. So Ronan O'Toole had a very good game as well. So like you said, Ronan against Mark Collins likely at midfield, two very fit guys, good footballers, two guys that their team, rely a lot on to get a lot of possession. So that'll be a big battle.
Another key matchups, I suppose, like the likes of John Cooper, who probably now will pick up Cathal Maguire with Cahalane out, Damien Cahalane, and the other end then trying to pick up Colm O'Callaghan. So a couple of intriguing battles there.
Yeah, so look, it will be interesting to see how things line out. Do Castlehaven go with the two Hurleys and Jack Cahalane inside, or will one of Michael or Jack come out to the half-forward line as well, potentially? And whoever is marking John Cooper, he was very good in the game against us. So, we'd be expecting a good battle between him and his direct opponent, and that could have a big bearing on how things go. From the Castlehaven side of things then, obviously they'll be looking to hit Brian and Michael inside in the danger zone, and they are the two primary score getters for Castlehaven, even though they've got good support acts in the likes of Cathal Maguire, Jack Cahalane, Conor O'Driscoll, and I think there's a change at half forward, as you said, with Conor Cahalane out. But both teams have scoring forwards, both teams have midfield and half backs and half forwards who can get around the pitch and create the chances for those dangerous inside players. Obviously, Daniel Goulding will be the primary source of scores on the other end for Éire Og, but he's got good support as well from the likes of Brian Hurley, Colm O'Callaghan, and Kevin Hallisey, these guys. So, I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, and of course, Éire Og in their debut season up at Premier Senior level, the first ever time, of course, getting off to the perfect start last weekend. And of course, whoever wins and loses, it does count if you win. If you lose, you're not completely out of it. You have a third round game, and that's the beauty of this new round robin format here in Cork.
Yeah, like I touched on there a while ago, I think it's a good initiative by the Cork County Board, and it's it was a long time coming. I think players and mentors and everyone involved with teams has been screaming for some change with a number of years, but I think the system that they've struck on at the moment is about as good as we can get. There's 12 senior teams now, 12 senior clubs, 3 groups of 4. Like I said, every game matters, because you don't want to be down the bottom and potentially ended up in a relegation final. But even the winners today, they'll be going into their last game looking to win that third game with the chance of getting a direct route to the semi-final. Would be very valuable, especially to the likes of Éire Og, who are trying to balance hurling and football. Another thing for Éire Og, and somewhere they had a lot of success in our game as well, is their keeper Chris Kelly has a very accurate kick out. They tend to go short with it a lot, so it'll be interesting to see whether Castlehaven will push up fully on that kick out and try to put pressure on them in that area.
So as we look out to the field and we see the toss, which is going to happen, Mark Collins, the Castlehaven captain, and joining James Birmingham also, the Éire Og captain Daniel Goulding, and just getting the final bits and pieces of paperwork. It looks like we may not just go off exactly at 2 o'clock, just a couple of minutes over time, as the paperwork is being handed over either way. And a decent crowd coming out here this afternoon in Enniskeane. Well, it's a beautiful day for football, as Mark Collins has lost the toss and Éire Og are going playing from left to right in this opening half. So an interesting game. Is this Castlehaven's victory, or does the 2 points go back up to Ovens?
Look, Castlehaven are strong favourites with the bookies. I think the price is too short for Castlehaven, but I would agree that they're favourites. Their experience at this level, again, the fact that they're football only focused as well, and that they got their victory in the opening game against Newcestown, I'll give a slightly tentative nod to Castlehaven, but I do think Éire Og will give them plenty of trouble.
Okay, and it's a busy weekend once again. 26 games, or 28 games I should say, in the Bon Secures Football Championships this weekend before we take a break next weekend. Of course, don't forget, tomorrow we're up in Glantan for that eagerly waited local derby in the Senior A Football Championship, when Clyde Rovers will take on Mallow. Of course, plenty of stories about that during the week in the Irish Examiner. A great article with John Fogarty, who caught up with Paddy Gassan during the week. Of course, teams meeting 2004 and 2011 in 2 replays as well. So an interesting Titanic tussle at 2 o'clock tomorrow. But for the moment, this is the centre of attention across Cork County. James Birmingham just giving the fist pump to opposing players. He's flanked by his fellow Bride Rovers official Pat Driscoll, who's taking a slug of water on that far side, and local referee down here in Canterbury, Shane Scanlon, who is one of the upcoming referees here in the western side of the county. As we look out towards and straight into Damien Cahalane, just off shot, picking up Colm O'Callaghan, and you can see a bit of a dig to say, a bit of a how's your father. 2 of them are at it already. Looking out to the centre of the field, Mark Collins looks like orthodox 1 to 15 from both sides, as James Birmingham is just checking the final checks. Roland O'Toole and Mark Collins. So it's the 2 number 8s against the 2 number 9s. Jamie Walsh and Jack Murphy on the background, as this Bon Secures Premier Senior Football Championship clash, Group B Round 2, gets underway in Enniskeane. And it is Mark Collins from the Haven with the opening possession, offloading it to Damien Cahalane. First time, long ball in towards the full forward line, looking for Michael Hurley. Rips the ball over the hand of the corner back, and Hurley is in on goal for Hurley's shot. It's gone straight over the post, over the bar. And it's an early score for Castlehaven.
Yeah, well, look, an interesting one. It's an old Castlehaven tactic to get Damien Cahalane coming from centre back and delivering long ball. It looked like Dermot Hurley had that had that secured, but Michael just seemed to nick it straight off him, and it was a great goal chance. Probably should have got the goal.
Ripped out of the hand of Darragh McCarthy as the kick out for the first time this afternoon from Anthony Seymour over towards that far side of the field, and it is Mark Collins who has picked up possession, and Castlehaven looking to try and walk it through the lines. Roland Welton now, man who picked up a red card in last year's semi-final, passing across the line to Jamie Walsh and towards David McCarthy, and here is the wing forward Cathal Maguire, who scored a goal in the opening round win over Newcestown. Turns back on the right inside, looking for a second score. Beautifully kicked, and a great score it is from Cathal Maguire.
Yeah, great start from Castlehaven, and that's a good score for Cathal Maguire. His nickname is Shooter, and that was an excellent point from distance. So a very strong start from Castlehaven. Éire Og will want to settle down and get their hands on possession here.
Chris Kelly with the kick out. Not too much happening. There's a lot of off the ball antics up in front of us here as the kick out is over towards that far side. Great mark claim by Ronan O'Toole over on that far side of the field. Places in short in towards Colm O'Callaghan. There was a bit of a meeting challenge there from Brian Hurley as Ronan O'Toole back in possession, working it to Darragh McCarthy as Éire Og now looking to try and move it through the lines, with a great hand in there from the full back line. Looks like Johnny O'Regan was who got a hand in on that occasion. Offloading the ball back outside from Éire Og. Through possession, Joe Cooper seeing runners inside. There's a man gone inside here. Ronan O'Toole it is. O'Toole composure there, slots it over inside 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, 3 points inside the first 3 minutes. I did think both teams have good forwards and good players capable of getting scores. So it looks like, if it continues in this vein, we'll have a high scoring and entertaining game.
First time we see Anthony Seymour underneath this Damien Cahalane. Great handoff off the training park move, handing it off to Mark Collins, out to his midfield partner Jamie Walsh, who just slipped into the turf under pressure to drop the ball, but he just got a lazy hand across the legs, which knocked him out of position. A free goal to be taken from the Castlehaven captain. Mark Collins sends it forward in towards the full forward line. And a chance now for Jack Cahalane to try and set up another play, looking for the short mark. Play out towards Cathal Hurley. Here, Cathal Maguire, I should say. Brian Hurley shot half blocked down on that occasion and just lands short inside the parallelogram. And a chance now for Chris Kelly to set up an attack. John Mullins over towards that far side of the field to Jack Murphy. Came on as a substitute in that Carbery Rangers victory 3 weeks ago, scoring a point in the second half. And running through the centre here is Colm O'Callaghan, gone through the 45-metre line, offloading towards the left-hand side, in towards Diarmuid Dineen. Shot and goal! They've got the goal! Straight through the heart of the fence by Colm O'Callaghan, and finishing to the back of the net was Diarmuid Dineen.
Yeah, it's a brilliant goal for Éire Og, and look, a lot of credit there to Dermot Hurley, a cornerback. He just got a half block on Brian Hurley's shot, which ended up with the goalkeeper, and then it was a brilliant move. One kick pass out to Cooper at centre back, a good ball up to Colm O'Callaghan, who does what he does best in terms of running at Castlehaven and popping off the hand pass, and then it was straight through and a great finish.
Mistake here from Anthony Seymour. Ball went straight out in the full. There's a guy slipping here, left, right and centre. Brian Hurley, that's the Éire Og Brian Hurley at this juncture. Nippy it back outside to Daniel Goulding. How crucial is that score so early in this game? John Cooper working from centre back up towards the 45-metre line, long hand pass inside on Dylan Foley, but Foley ended up on the floor, and this gives the opportunity for Castlehaven to try and break out. Mark Collins now from his own half back line. Oh, Genie, that's not the greatest of hand passes, but Colin Maguire had to work very, very hard to get a hand on it. Swing it over towards that far side from Johnny O'Regan. It's Castlehaven now just looking to try and settle things back down once again. Ball walked down towards the near sideline to Rory Maguire. Éire Og with the early goal after two great scores from Castlehaven. Diarmuid Dineen with the major in the 5th minute of this game. And the ball has been dispossessed, and Daniel Goulding has won the breaking ball here out towards Conor McGoldrick as Éire Og trying to work it through the lines. Diarmuid Dineen, the goal scorer. It's Castlehaven now going quite defensive, with Éire Og now just taking their time working that ball into space over on that far side of the field. Jack Murphy swings the play back outside. Back inside in the centre of the park as Éire Og look to try to take it on. Murphy once again from the centre of the park. Not too many options inside the full forward line. That wasn't the greatest of passes either, but Darren McCarthy had the quickest reaction time to that. And it's a chance now over on that far side for Dineen to try and set up another play. Worked over there towards Kevin Hallisey. Contributed a white flag in their round 1 victory last time. Of course, round 3 of this championship will take place on the weekend of the 16th and 17th. It's on the 17th of October as that play was poor there. Mark Collins has won the breaking ball, walking in towards the 45-metre line, walking it into space, coming up to the exclusion zone. Well worked score there by Mark Collins, reduced the margin back down to 1 point.
Yeah, that score, all Mark's own work really. I think Jack Murphy just guilty of taking a little bit too much out of it. He had the option to give a pass to Ronan O'Toole, who'd made a good run. Seemed to have lost his man, but Mark Collins stood him up, dispossessed him, and went all the way then to clip it over the bar.
Great kick out there, and what a mark claimed in there by John Cooper, who seems to have got a bit of a championship haircut since we saw him last on the Irish Examiner. That ball walking in towards the full forward line. Colm O'Callaghan was first to it, got possession, popped the ball back outside to Dylan Foley. Looking for Daniel Goulding inside. It's going to be knocked out though off Castlehaven leg, off the leg of Roy Maguire. It's going to be a 45 in the early juncture of this game.
Yeah, there was a chance there for Éire Og to create a scoring shot, but a couple of sloppy-ish passes. Daniel Goulding manages to force the 45 off Rory. You know, a tough test for Danny to kick a 45 with his first kick. Not sure will he look for a short one or go for it.
So Goulding actually goes behind Darren McCarthy. What an absolute textbook tackle there from Brian Hurley. Brilliant stuff from the Cork full forward, and sees runners outside him. Dave McCarthy as Castlehaven now looking to try and go on the counter attack here. McCarthy seeing the runner inside, Jack Cahalan. That's a great tackle in itself though, and good physical play. James Birmingham happy enough to leave things walk away, and we see a free man here in front of us in Daniel Goulding. Bring inside the 45-metre line. We're sitting right behind it. If he does turn it back on his left leg, he's going to go off the right leg though. Shows a bit of skill and art, but skill and art wasn't good enough, and went for the first wide of the game.
Yeah, good tackling on both sides there. Brian Hurley with a good dispossession back from the 45, but equally good defending on the other side. A chance there for Daniel. He'll be disappointed he didn't clip that, even though it was on his right side.
So the kick out goes short from Castlehaven, and Éire Og trying to press up, but they see space inside as Jamie Walsh pops that ball over the top. There was a hand in there. Referee says that was legal. Here's David McCarthy now, trying to work it over towards that far side. Ronan Walsh, but going through the heart of the Éire Og men. Second tackle was the foul. As James Birmingham was trying to explain the ruling. Play continues on. Free taken quickly in towards Michael Hurley. Jack Cahallan's outside. Hurley's going to go low and bring it up to the exclusion zone. Dummy the first shot. Went for the second one. Beat Dermot O'Hurley. And now it's a level game. That's a good work score from Castlehaven.
Yeah, good kick pass delivery in, and look, Michael is very dangerous when he gets a ball in that position. Then Dermot Hurley did everything he could, but Michael just has that pace to make himself a yard or two and kicked an easy score in the end.
Entertaining opening 9 minutes of this Bonsecure's Premier Senior Football Championship, live from Enniskeane, as the kick out, well, it went straight down the throat of Mark Collins. Takes the mark quickly to Roland Welton. Long ball in towards the two-man full forward line. Brian Hurley is one-on-one with his man inside there. Pops the ball back inside. In for Sean goal, and Castlehaven get their goal back.
Yeah, look, it's clear Castlehaven are getting a lot of joy from the direct ball. You know, it's a Castlehaven tactic with a long time. They do like to use the long kick pass. It was a good ball in there from Roland Welton. Won by Brian, popped off to Michael on the run. You know, that's very difficult to stop, especially when there's space inside. So that's a big score. Éire Og will need a response now to that.
Of course, when you get the brute strength of Brian and Michael Hurley, they're always going to be very, very hard to stop, as Chris Kelly sends the long ball down here in front of us into space. As Ronan O'Toole just going to stop it. Well, sideline official says that just went out over the sideline as he put the boot the ball. I wouldn't disagree with him. It's going to be a line ball here for Castlehaven, right in front of us inside their own 65-metre line. Going to be taken here by Roland Welton. Plays it back to the keeper. Anthony Seymour is playing a bit of a roaming role. And here's the man wearing number 19, David Welton, who is the late programme switch for Conor Cahallan, who was suspended after picking up a straight red card in the last game. Possession with Ronan Walsh now. Offloads it outside to David Welton. Castlehaven now, after scoring that crucial goal in the 10th minute through the Hurley brothers, finished to the net by Michael Hurley, as Mark Collins looks to go through the heart of this Éire Og defence. Michael Hurley, the goal scorer, breaking inside the D, looking to try and take on 1, 2, 3 defenders. He's been harried and hassled. Foul inside there by Dermot O'Hurley, who's under pressure, it must be said, John Hayes, in the opening 11 minutes.
Yeah, look, to be fair to him, it just looks like Michael Hurley is really on his game today and looks well up for the game. Is getting the ball and is taking them on directly. And when Michael does that with the pace he has, and you know the fact that he's very elusive, it creates a lot of trouble for defenders. So you know I think he's kicked 1-2 already himself, and now he's won this free, which Brian will pop over.
Goes inside that near upright, so the Haven now kicking on into a 4-point lead after getting that sucker blow in the 4th minute. An entertaining opening 12 minutes so far, and a good tempo as well, John.
Yeah, definitely. It's been very good football so far, and very open and attractive football with good football being played by both sides. But this is an important time for Éire Og now to make sure that Castlehaven don't open up too big a gap.
Éire Og needing a quick response as possession is over on that far side of the field. They're looking to try and work it back outside. Here looks like John Mullins, after making his way up towards Ronan O'Toole, switching it down towards this near side. Centre of the park here now actually is Jack Murphy. Plays a long ball inside, looking for that mark. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that mark inside to try and get the easy scores.
Yeah, look, he tried to hit Dylan Foley with a long ball. It needed to be absolutely spot on because he was tightly marked inside, overhit the pass. And again, like I said, it's a crucial period here that Éire Og need to stick with Castlehaven, not let them build up a big lead.
Ball in the centre of the park, David McCarthy. Just doesn't see, looking to recycle, not too many options, but one option that does come towards him is the man wearing number 11, Conor O'Driscoll, who pops the ball inside to Jack Cahallan. Again, they're looking for the mark of their own, but sees Brian Hurley one-on-one, and Hurley, he's going for goal, he's got the goal! 2 quick goals for the 2 Hurley brothers, and now there's a bit of open distance between teams.
Yeah, and look, Castlehaven, in fairness to them, have responded brilliantly to a good start from Éire Og, and they're playing really good football, and it's kick passing into the two hurleys inside who, have space, and if they're given good deliveries like that, any defender is going to be in trouble. We saw what Brian could do down in Clarny in the first half against top class inter-county players. So at this level, they're going to do a lot of damage as well.
Chris Kelly obviously feet in the heat. This wasn't the greatest of kickouts, and that ball out over the sideline. As Damien Cahalan has kicked that ball out over the sideline. His foot was out over the line.
Yeah, I think he stepped onto the pitch, so it'll be a hot ball here.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be disagreeing because, in fairness, as I said at the top, Shane has been one of the up-and-coming referees, only 22 or 23 years of age. That ball, deadly thrown up there, and Ronan O'Toole just said, "Thanks very much, referee, I'll take that." But Jamie Walsh got a hand in absolutely brilliantly for that block. And looking to try and switch the play now as that ball's blocked down, and two Castlehaven men. Bit of accidental fire there. And Éire Og now on the attack through Joe Cooper, looking to try and get a second goal of their own. Pops the ball to this near side, looking for a shot and goal off to one of the Castlehaven defenders, throwing his body on the line. It looked like Johnny O'Regan to stop that shot from Brian Hurley of Éire Og.
Yeah, and another goal chance, another opportunity created. Both defences are having their issues when they're being ran at. Again, it was a good run by Joe Cooper there, and he popped it off to Brian Hurley. Chance was there. He was right to go for it. I think it was just a good block and good save. But it's important, I think, if Daniel can nail this one, to just settle Éire Og down a little bit again.
It's a crucial juncture in this game as we come to the opening half water break. 11 points playing 4 after just over 15 minutes of this opening half of the Premier Senior Football Round 2 clash, Group B. And Daniel Goulding, we've seen this so many years, wearing the red of Cork and the red and gold of Éire Og. Beautifully struck, and a great score from Daniel Goulding from the 45.
Yeah, that's important for two reasons. I think number one, just settles Éire Og a little bit, but also it settles Daniel. Free taker, first one in 45 to nail that one is crucial for his confidence and for the team as well.
Massive kick out here, but it's been broken down by Daniel Goulding off the hands of Rory Maguire, and sees man in space, Darragh McCarthy, breaking into this Castlehaven defence, popping off to Dylan Foley, outside to Colm O'Callaghan. There was a hand across the body. Legal says, well, not illegal actually, there's a free kick being taken here. That ball has gone in and over the bar, but the referee says no, we're going to give a free because the advantage didn't happen, and it's going to be a free in.
Yeah, I think James was just a little premature blowing for the free there. Colm had just worked himself space for a shot and kicked a good point. Hopefully from Éire Óg's perspective, Daniel Goulding will kick the free.
I think actually James has recognised that now as well. I think he's just acknowledging that it was a small bit on the premature side, but he has been leaving the game flow in the opening 15 minutes.
Absolutely. Look, it's a small error, and it's not an easy job. And absolutely, he has. I think from so far, he's been doing a good job. And one thing I like is, look, he's allowing a bit of a tackle. Sometimes in Cork, I think we're a little bit too liberal with the frees. So it's nice to see him allowing. There has been good hits and good tackles made, and he's not blowing up for everything. So. From that perspective is fine, but look, that's just a small thing, and Éire Og have kicked the free, so it's of no material relevance. Water break.
So we're taking the water break at around the 17th minute. Castlehaven 2-5, Éire Og 1-3. But first, Éire Og, after conceding 2 early points, they got 2 great scores back from Ronan O'Toole and that crucial goal from Daniel Dineen. But then they Haven, as they do, they might be out of the game for a couple of minutes, but they always get back into it and got 2 goals of their own through the Hurley brothers.
Yeah, look, nearly every time I think Castlehaven have gone forward, they've scored. 2-5 at the first water break is a serious total. Éire Og look capable of getting scores and making chances down the other end as well, and those 2 points that they've got there from Danny are 2 important scores. It brings it back into it. 5 points, sounds a lot more manageable than 7. So like I said, the next 15 minutes after this, Éire Og are going to have to keep within touching distance of Castlehaven. Like I said, they are a fit team, an athletic team, so if they can keep it within striking range into the second half, you know, they won't be far away at the end of the day. Obviously, any team trained by Paddy Cassan, you know, they're going to be fit and well able for that side of things.
And I suppose the one thing, and we're always mentioning it with the hurling, we've mentioned it for the last couple of weeks with the hurling and the football, every score counts, whether you're going for promotion or relegation in the latter stage of the championship.
100%, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, having won their first games, I don't think either of these two teams will be worried about relegation. I think generally it's teams who lose their 3 matches will end up in the relegation playoff, more than likely. But like you said, it could come down to scoring difference to get promotion for one or both of them. So yeah, every score matters, and you can't afford to, you know, just give up on any game. You have to play right to the end of the whistle. And look, that's the benefit of having this 4-team group system that we have in Cork now.
It's a great round robin format indeed, and I suppose the way they're after falling with the knockout stages, they were planning on bringing 10 teams to the knockout stages. Now it's only 7 in this Premier Senior, 6 from the group stage, the winner of the division in colleges, which we'll feature next weekend. So it's a great format to have going forward. And I can tell you in the other game that's ongoing in the Premier Senior Football Championship, I think it's Group A, it is, Douglas are leading Valley Rovers 5 points to 3 in that titanic clash, of course. Like this, whoever wins that game goes top of the table after round 2 of their group. As we restart play down towards this near sideline, great mark claim there by Colm O'Callaghan. Plays the ball long into a man free in space. Daniel Goulding turns around onto the left peg, going off the post. It's gone across the face of goal. There was nobody home from an Éire Og point of view, and cleaning up back there, one of the Éire Og defenders, or one of the Castlehaven defenders, I should say. They're turning defence into attack. Mark Collins offloading that ball to Jack Cahalane over on that far side. Here's Cathal Maguire now. Just sold the man inside, looking to try and create a space for a score. Conor O'Driscoll, bit of a playmaker, looking for a dink ball. Free man over on the near side. Shot going in here from Roland Whelton. And Whelton going to the left-hand side and wide.
Yeah, misses on both ends there from reasonable opportunities. I think Daniel will be disappointed, didn't get the greatest of strikes. Nearly crept over. Then Castlehaven counter-attack, create the opportunity for Roland Welton. It was a good chance. They probably have preferred one of the hurleys taking that shot.
Damien Cahalane feeling the effects of a physical tackle being thrown in. Conor O'Driscoll has that ball, just pops the ball back outside. The Éire Og man slips on it. He gets out of the way. Play continues on, says the referee. Colm O'Callaghan now goes down for the ball, and he is being fouled, and this is being brought forward. The play won't count, I don't think, is he? Well, he actually is going to leave a play continue on. Thought for a second he was going to stop it. Dylan Foley, long ball in, looking for the mark inside. Goulding could have claimed the mark, didn't claim it, and took a shot snap round the body, and it's off the post. I'm not sure why the mark wasn't offered on that occasion.
I think Dylan Foley was actually inside the 45. It was more of a crossfield pass, so I think he was inside the 45 when he delivered, so the mark wasn't. But I still think Danny probably should have settled down. He took the shot quite quickly under pressure, where he just maybe steadied and bring someone else into play.
Heavy hits here on Brian Hurley, high and low. Sloppy ball from Brian Hurley, but picked up there by Rory Maguire, who is carrying a knock now already. And the physical effect and intense nature of this game in the opening 20 minutes is going to have a knock-on effect towards the final quarter, as that man's going to be bottled up over on that far side of the field. That ball just squirted out of the tackle. And a chance now for Rory Maguire to try and set up another play. Here's Jack Cahalane from the 65-metre line. Long ball in, but down on top of the sweeper inside. Well, the ball's going to ricochet out towards David McCarthy. Pass the ball outside to Cathal Maguire. Offloading out towards Brian Hurley. He's been closely measured there. As Cathal Maguire sets himself up for a shot, snapshot, going left and wide. Huge physicality in this game.
Yeah, there is, and it's good to see. You know, it's what we want to see in championship football. It's hard stuff without going over the top. Colm O'Callaghan has come into the game a little bit for Éire Og, which will be important. You know, won a great mark there after the water break. Couple of chances there on both ends to add to their score tallies, but 2 misses either way. Next score feels like it could be important, and Éire Og would probably need to get it, like I said, to keep within touching distance. They look like they're losing Jack Cooper there.
Joe
the wing
Cooper,
forward.
yeah.
Joe Cooper, the wing forward at this stage. And he's a good player for them. They won't.
Not sure is that a blood sub or is that a full-on substitution?
Yeah, they'll be hoping it's a temporary.
We'll gather that substitution momentarily indeed as that ball squirted through the centre of the park, and there's a break here for Éire Og. Jack Murphy breaking inside the 45-metre line. Castlehaven defender falls over David McCarthy. He goes for the shot, Murphy. He got a point of last there and he's opened his account here.
Yeah, that's an important score for Jack, I think. Look, he had a big impact against us in the first round when he came onto the game. He hasn't motored as well so far in this game, but that was a good score. We saw him with the Cork under-20s a couple of years ago when they were successful and played well for them. So if he can get into the game, it's a big bonus for Éire Og.
Great ball picked up there. Breaking ball won by Kevin Hallisey, and Darren McCarthy now trying to work it through the lines. Here's Colm O'Callaghan back outside to Hallisey in the triangle. Back inside is Darren McCarthy, looking to try and bring it up towards the 45-metre line. Worked outside towards Diarmuid Dineen. Got a half block down there by Mark Collins. Has walked in here to the corner towards Colm O'Callaghan. Faced up by Damien Cahalane. What's he going to do, O'Callaghan? He turns back on the left-hand side. Sublime score from the Éire Og centre forward.
Yeah, really good score. And look, that's Colm's game. That's what you want him doing. Get the ball in space and run at people, because he's big and he's fast and he's powerful. And when he runs at people, even someone with the physical strength of Damien Cahalane, he just brushed past them and kicked a good score off the left. Like I said, he was coming into the game, and if he can do that for Éire Og, they're not without their chance.
Looks like the substitution is Jerome Kelleher in for Éire Og, in for Joe Cooper. As Castlehaven have won the breaking ball here, and Cathal Maguire now in possession, working inside the 45-metre line, looking to try and steady the ship. Pops the ball outside. Selling the candy was Michael Hurley, but the shot didn't buy the sweets, and it goes left and wide.
Yeah, there's an interesting switch now in that John Cooper has gone back to full back to mark Brian Hurley. I don't think that's something ideally Éire Og would like, because he's such an important player at centre back, but he has to go back in there to try and shore things up, and that'll be an interesting battle to watch.
Kick out down the centre, looking for man centre forward there. Jerome Kelleher was in there first, marginally, just to get in there before the boot of Mark Collins. Wins the free for giving a good effort in bending the back, which is always crucial in football, which is the first nature any young kid should be taught. Conor McGoldrick passing the ball outside and towards Hallisey. Here's Dylan Foley, long ball inside in towards the full forward line. Daniel Goulding now bringing outside the 20-metre line. Well, that was a poor pass there from Goulding, poor effort, and that allowed David Whelton to get in on the interception, and Rory Maguire now and Roland Whelton to try and settle things back up once again. From being 7 points down to one stage, there's only 3 points in it as they come to the closing stages of this opening half here in Inniskeen. Possessions with Rory Maguire. Not too much movement, very stalemate from Castlehaven so far. As it's walked over towards that far side. Ronan Walsh now off to David McCarthy, who seems to be switching sides on and off. Damien Cahalane now under pressure. Cahalane selling the candy left and right, using as much steps as he is allowed. Popping that ball back outside. Long ball in here from Rory Maguire with a bit of snow off that one. But that was an easy foul to give away by Conor McGoldrick, who seems to be marking Brian Hurley, and it's going to be a free in for...
Yeah, a couple of changes there. I think to be fair, I think Michael Hurley kind of sensed the man coming into the back of him and, played for that a little bit. It was a foul in the end, but I think Éire Og just dropping off there a little bit, probably needing a breather. And on the other end, I think Daniel will be disappointed with the last couple of balls he's won. He's winning the ball well, but has missed a couple of chances and gave the ball away there. And you need to make him stick at this level, especially when you're chasing down a team as good as Castlehaven.
So Brian Hurley from, it looks like outside the 45-metre line on this beautiful side here in Inniskeen. Michael Hurley just walking away from the scene of the crime. He's got a bit of a leg problem there after that tackle. We've got the perfect view of Brian Hurley taking this one. It was not well struck at all by the Cork full forward. And that's going down for Castlehaven's 5th wide of this opening half.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lull in the scoring since the water break. Teams making chances, yeah, but 3 or 4 wides on the trot there for Castlehaven as well. So I think a score or two is needed here to settle both teams again.
Conor McGoldrick just offloading that ball here to Dermot O'Hurley, one of the great stalwarts from the Ovens Club. Well, there was a hand in there from Mark Collins, cutely popped the ball outside to Brian Hurley. And looking for the runner here. Well, that's well shielded there by Michael Hurley, who seems to be injured. Mark Collins just playing the ball back outside, out towards Jamie Walsh, who plays it in towards the centre of the park to David Welton. Here's Jack Cahalan playing a deep role this afternoon. And David McCarthy working into the centre of the park to Jamie Walsh. And their captain, Mark Collins, who brings it down this left-hand side to Cathal Maguire. Gone inside the 45-metre line. Run being made inside here by Brian Hurley. He's gone inside McGoldrick. Hurley looking for a shot. He hand passes the ball over the bar and extends the lead out to 4 points.
Yeah, again, a half chance of goal there, I think, for Brian, but possibly the right thing to do, settle down with another score, extend the lead to 6 points, and, after 3 or 4 wides, to take the easy point is a sensible option.
Chris Kelly with the kick out. Great mark claimed, albeit might be prematurely from the referee, but Hallisey did get a grips of it, and low play continued. At the start of this opening half, he's got a... Oh, nearly went into the back of the net. Would have counted off the hand of Daniel Goulding after being touched by Anthony Seymour, but just did enough to get it over the crossbar.
That's another superb run by Dermot Deneen, nearly a carbon copy of his earlier goal. Brilliant run, brilliant shot. Unlucky it came off the crossbar. Daniel, a little bit lucky that Anthony Seymour just didn't let that drop into the net, because it would have been disallowed. But Éire Og will be happy with the point out of that.
Free mark claimed here by Ronan O'Toole in the centre of the park. Play the ball before the shoulder. And that play continues on. Over on that far side, Kevin Hallisey inside the 45-metre line. Here's the substitute, Jerome Kelleher. Seems to be having an effect, but that's a poor ball out there from Jerome Kelleher. Bit in frustration as well. Brian Hurley was unlucky not to pick it up, and that's allowed Castlehaven to try and pick up pieces once again. David McCarthy switched the play to this near side to Rory Maguire. An entertaining opening 30 minutes here in Enniskeane as we come to the final stages of this regulation 30. Mark Collins in possession now, looking for Maguire outside him. Takes the man away off it. Goulding lost for pace outside of the booth from Maguire. Just too fancy, and lands inside into the chest of Chris Kelly. As Éire Og looking to try and tack on, looking for another score to reduce the margin inside that 3-point lead. And currently is held by the runners-up of the 2020 Premier Senior Champions. Jack Murphy, well, didn't get the grace of the ball. Here's Daniel Goulding now from the 65-metre line, being measured up by David Welton. Goulding just sees inside. Darragh McCarthy making a loose run. McCarthy working his way inside, pops the ball loose out towards Kevin Hallisey, looking for a shot. Hallisey, that's a great score! Great score, well worked from the Ovens Base Club.
Yeah, and look, it's been noticeable in the last 10 minutes that Kevin Hallisey has been coming into the game. Won a good mark there from a kick out earlier, has been popping up left and right. Tends to play on the left wing and keeps it wide, but then will drift in and get on possession. Got into a good position there and kicked a good score. The Cork minor in 2010, so he's got a lot of potential. If he can keep that going for Éire Og, they'll be delighted.
Oh, Rory Maguire getting pinned for over carrying the ball inside the 65-metre line, and Daniel Goulding is saying, I'll take it from here, sunshine. And an acre of space inside for Dylan Foley and Colm O'Callaghan, who's running Damien Cahalan ragged around the field. Turns back on the right, favourite peg. Is this a big score for Éire Og to reduce the margin down to the minimum?
Yeah, big score from Colm. He has thundered into the game, especially since the water break. He's given Damien Cahalan a lot of trouble. And if he can get the better of that battle, as I said, Éire Og, they're sticking in the game. Castlehaven have had that 5-6 point lead, but they're chipping away at it. So it's shaping up to be very interesting for the second half.
As the kick out there from Seymour into the centre of the park. Castlehaven need a score badly. Haven't scored now since the 27th minute when Brian Hurley, and before that, it was a long time before that. Ball's in towards the edge of the square. Great fist inside there by Chris Kelly. Got a great hand on it, and that allowed the Éire Og defence to get back in numbers to try and weather the storm, and they've done that. As Brian Hurley As Michael Hurley it is, who was in there at the edge of the square. Great ball in from Jack Cahalane. And a chance now for Jack Murphy to try and clear the lines. Here's John Cooper. Haven't seen too much of him, but Cooper's making a darting run through the centre. Taken on here by Colm O'Callaghan. Great hit inside there by Dave McCarthy. O'Callaghan did very well. Pops it off towards John Cooper. A high tackle inside here. It's going to be a 45. Mark Collins is roaring for looking for a free. John Cooper running away, delighted. And a chance from absolutely nowhere, from being 7 points down. Daniel Goulding with an opportunity to level this game at half time.
Yeah, so look, it's a big kick. And another good run from Colm. There's a chance for Castlehaven at the other end. The ball in from Jack Halland to Michael Hurley had too much air in it. Chris Kelly did what a goalkeeper should do, came out, got man ball and all, and counter-attacked here leads to a chance for Daniel Goulding.
Goulding just robbing a couple of feet, well, maybe 6-7 feet he's robbed, but it didn't really matter because the trajectory of the ball went in between those two uprights, bisecting the posts. And it's a level game here for the first time this afternoon, or for the second time I should say, since the opening whistle. And the referee does call the halt to proceedings here. And what an opening 30 minutes this has been here in Enniskeane. Castlehaven 2-6, Éire Og 1-9. And a fascinating opening 30 minutes it has been. John Hayes joining us on co-commentary this afternoon. John, it's been an enthralling opening 30 minutes. 7 scores playing 10. It's been or 8 scores playing 10. It's been great stuff to watch.
Yeah, no, it's been a really good first half hour of football. 2-6 to 1-9 at half time. The first 15 minutes was excellent. There was a little bit of a lull in the quality there after the water break, which can happen. The water break kills the momentum a little bit. Castlehaven looked like they were pushing out the lead, and then Éire Og finished very, very strongly. And some of the scores they got there at the end, their big players are stepping up and coming into it in Colm O'Callaghan and Daniel Goulding. Like I said, Kevin Hallisey is doing a lot of good work. Ronan O'Toole has been good at midfield as well, and John Cooper is excellent. On the Castlehaven side, the two Hurleys have shown they're very, very dangerous inside, and that's the thing. I think every time Castlehaven come forward and give decent ball in, they look like they're going to create chances, goal chances as well. So this game is perfectly balanced, and it has been very entertaining, as you said.
And there have been goal chances on either side. The two Hurleys have scuppered a couple of goal chances themselves as well.
Yeah, like you said, both sides. Brian took a point with a fisted point there when he had a chance. Éire Og hit the crossbar at the other end as well. So definitely forwards on top in this game, which is great for us watching as neutrals. But it has been high quality, and like I said, this is good stuff for Cork club football and for Cork football in general. The more of these games that we get through this system, the better. It can only improve both teams. But just for today, it's all on the line now for the second 30 minutes. And
the centre of the field, I suppose, it's fairly level because Mark Collins was winning a good majority of it early, but as the game has worn on, Ronan O'Toole and Jack Murphy are starting to get a grips of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Mark has had his moments. He won a great score, pretty much all of his own work, turning the ball over at midfield, carrying it all the way through and taking his point. But Ronan O'Toole has been conspicuous pretty much the whole way through, and I thought Jack Murphy improved as the half went on. So maybe they've a slightly more balanced pairing. But look, Castlehaven will be looking for a big second half out of Mark and for Jamie Walsh to come into it as well.
I'm sure the viewers at home will be able to watch some of the goals that have been scored in this game. With the first goal of the game, of course, coming from Diarmuid Dineen, who went through the centre of the park. Colm O'Callaghan making a great off-the-shoulder run, but Diarmuid Dineen finishing brilliantly to the back of the net. Yeah, it was a super run from the left half back, and he did it later in the half as well, and hit the crossbar. The first one was a cracker of a finish, but it's been noticeable that when Éire Og do that with Colm O'Callaghan and with Dineen at half back and Ronan O'Toole and Jack Murphy, that it does open up for them. You noted how big this pitch is, and the sod is perfect, so it's there for the running game that Éire Og have, but equally on the other side, the more direct kick passing game that Castlehaven employed has borne fruit as well. So we've had a mix of everything, and it's been very enjoyable. And the two Hurley brothers then getting themselves in the act as well. Michael Hurley in the 10th minute and Brian in the 14th. Yeah, and like Michael started pretty much like a house on fire. I think he'd 1-2 in the early stages, and like I said, when you've one-on-one inside with the two Hurleys and they're getting good delivery and it's early, that's a nightmare for a cornerback or for a fullback as well. So I think Éire Og have reacted by dropping John Cooper back to
to full back to pick up Brian, and they made a change on Michael Hurley as well. But those guys will still take a lot of minding. The best way of defending against the two Hurleys is to deprive them of the possession. So Éire Og finished that half very strong. Like I said, I was impressed with their fitness levels. In the game we played them, they finished very strongly. So they won't wilt away. Castlehaven will be fit, of course, for having trained for the county final that they were going for as well. So it's all set up to be a very tight and exciting second half.
That other game that's ongoing, Group C, Douglas 7 points, Valley Rovers 3 points at half time. But back to the game here, and that's a crucial point you've just mentioned, I suppose, the fitness. For Éire Og, this is going to be their 4th week on the bounce. For Castlehaven, they've had 3 weeks off since their last game. So is it match fitness, or is it going to be training fitness with a bit of rest in between is going to lure out towards the end of this game?
Yeah, and look, I think it's always a debate. You even see it with when it comes to All-Ireland finals, and back in the day would might have 4 weeks or 3 weeks to a final. You saw it with Mayo and Tyrone. Mayo had a 4-week break, whereas Tyrone were that bit sharper from playing the game 2 weeks before it. It is tough, no doubt, for the dual clubs, but I think if they're managed well, and obviously Paddy Cassan knows all there is to know about about fitness and conditioning and everything else, so he'll know that they won't be going too hard in between the games, because the games are making them fit. They don't need any additional fitness work on that, just a little bit of work on their football and their tactics, and that's all they need. So if you're asking which would I prefer, I think you'd prefer to probably play the 3 week gaps for the football only clubs is a longish gap, so you prefer to be playing more regular. But I think Éire Og will be looking forward to the week off that they have next week at the same time as well. That'll be crucial for them. It is hard to balance the two. Which one is better is anyone's guess, but I don't see Éire Og falling away based on fitness or tiredness either, for that matter. I just think they look like they're well conditioned and well able to go for the full 60-65 minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Of course, we've plenty more games for the weekend as well. We've reporters across the county in the 2 senior grades and the Premier Intermediate grade, and of course more live action for you tomorrow at 2 o'clock up in Glantan as Mallow take on Clyde, a local derby. It should be I know you're not going to be there because you've your own game tomorrow against Newcestown, but it should be a great game no matter what way the situation. Local derbies, as they always say, take a life of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. We've played Clyde a number of times down through the years, and we were never comfortable against Clyde. They were always tight games. We were very lucky to get out on 1 or 2 occasions. We played Mallow ourselves this year after their county final game. I think there was only a point or something in that. It was only a challenge match, but they're a good side as well. So games like that in this system, they're brilliant and great championship affairs, and it's great for people that they have more regular games to watch their own clubs, and in big games like that they're really meaningful as well. You can see there's a fine crowd here for a Saturday afternoon, and everyone's enjoying it and loving being here. So the more of those games and the more of those local derbies you see, the better.
Of course, and we've got more action for you during the week as well. We'll be turning our attention, we'll be switching off from the club scene and switching our attention to the divisional college scene, because on Tuesday night we've got the semi-final of the hurling divisional college section as Imekilly take on UCC. Of course, a cracking game last year when UCC defeated Imekilly on that Sunday night in Park Erin. Of course, that game is on Tuesday night with a 7:30 throw, and we'll be live from Park Erin from that one. But turning our attentions back to this, I suppose, which way is it, where's this game going to be won and lost? Is it from the midfield, or is it who's going to be more executing better inside that full forward line?
Look, if you're asking me to call it at this stage, I'd still give it the nod to Castlehaven, just because I think Brian and Michael have the space and are capable of getting those scores. And like I said, every time they come forward, they look like there's danger, and look like there's opportunities for goals and create chances to get enough scores. You might even have a situation where maybe Éire Og have 60% of the play, but that on that 40% possession, that Castlehaven will get enough scores to see them home. There's another goal or two there for Castlehaven, and that's a lot to come back from if Éire Og can't tighten up in the full back line.
Okay, so it's an interesting encounter indeed, and great to see crowds back as well, of course, because you joined us for a couple of games last year. It was a bit dreary, to be at games where there was nobody there, or 50 people or 100 people. Yeah. There's a couple of hundred here at this game, surrounding us here at either side of the banking. It is superb to see, and great to have crowds back at games.
Yeah, look, I think people have missed it desperately. These things are, for people from the clubs, and not being able to go and see the matches and see their friends and see relations and play games of hurling and football of this standard and of this importance has been huge. Look, it's been a rough 18 months all around, and little things like this. We're outdoors in the open air. It's as safe an environment as you can get. So having people here that can come out and enjoy this on a Saturday afternoon, more games on this evening, more games on tomorrow. It's great to have the crowds back, as you said, and there is good atmosphere here. And if this goes down to the wire with a point or two in it late on, I'm sure this place will be baying.
Yeah, we'll be baying for it to keep on going here. Of course, on the Irish Examiner, a busy couple of weeks ahead as well. We mentioned about the division in colleges. We'll have round 3 of the respective competitions in the Co-op Superstars Hurling Championships on the 9th and 10th of October. And of course, the football championship rounds up on the 16th and 17th. I suppose, John, it wouldn't be reminiscent of me to ask you about the Cork football manager's position. I suppose it's an interesting time. We saw last night on the Irish Examiner breaking that Shane Ronayne is going to be nominated and recommended to the county board. I suppose from Cork football point of view, it's crucial now that the right person is brought in to try and settle things back down again and try and get Cork back to a competitive level at the top table.
Yeah, 100%. Look, obviously directly involved this year with Ronan, and look, I have to put it on record in terms of the time and the work the man put into it. It was colossal. It's a huge job. It is, having seen it from the other side, it was a huge learning experience for me, but it also, it just drove home again how much time is involved. And it is a full-time job in itself, as a manager. I'm sure they could give him 40, 50 plus hours to it in a week as a selector. I know I did 30 plus as well, but in terms of the next appointment, of course, it's always crucial to get the right appointment for the Cork senior job. We've seen, obviously, the ladies have made their appointment. We've seen Kerry have made their appointment. So
Jack O'Connor, yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully the Cork job and whatever appointment is going to be made will be made in the near future, and that person will put the right work in. But it's also about getting the grassroots rights and getting more players coming through. Ronan, to be fair to him, at least one thing that we've done is that a lot of young players have been blooded in the last couple of years, and it's about merging those guys with the under-20s coming through and keeping the handful of senior players that you have, so that Cork, like you said, can start to climb the ranks again.
And of course, more of that will be in tune on the irishexaminer.com/sport to keep you abreast across all the Gaelic games, news and more. Of course, Ryder Cup as well taking place later on tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on that. As we get the second half underway in this Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship. And there was a real tight tussle inside there. No prior opportunity. Ronan O'Toole, Jack Murphy and Mark Collins inside there, but a foul by Damien Cahalan on Colm O'Callaghan, and a chance for Éire Og to start off anew in the second half. Ball being walked inside in towards the Éire Og Brian Hurley. Well, that's a poor ball. Try himself on the line inside there. Rona Welton inside there, not allowing to get up off the ground. Quick free taken out towards Mark Collins. And here is Jack Cahalan. Looking to try and take on this Éire Og defence. He's got great speed, has the youngest of the three brothers in this team. Offloading outside to David Welton. Welton looking for the runner inside. He's going to break on fortuitously here for Castlehaven. Oh, it was a goal opportunity inside there for Michael Hurley. It's gone over the bar.
Yeah, look, Michael has used that move, and Brian has used that move, the out to in, making the run towards the corner and cutting back around, and the hand pass over the top. Darragh McCarthy looked like he had a cover. The ball just slipped through his grasp again. I think Michael had another chance of a goal there. I think he'd be slightly disappointed. Could have kept that low and got a goal out of it.
Ronan O'Toole has tripped accidentally, I may add, Jamie Walsh. Mark Collins now with the free right in front of us here in our commentary position. Long ball in towards the full forward line, towards Brian Hurley. Dummy, the pass outside. Will be a typical Hurley score if he gets it, but it looks like it's just going to curl to the left hand side and wide.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that Brian didn't kick that. Good ball in from Mark, direct ball in. He sold the dummy, which made the space for himself, and you'd expect him to kick that over 9 times out of 10. He just pulled it a little bit.
So the Haven with the opening score of the game, of the second half, I should say, through Michael Hurley. And a chance now with the kick out over towards that far side. Great catch over there by Mark Collins, referee not paying the mark. Looked to have been touched by an Éire Óg man. As that ball's worked outside to Jack Cahalane. Long ball in. Looking for the mark at all stages. Michael Hurley just getting a hand to it. Showing great pace and speed. Looking to try and beat Conor McGoldrick. He's gone inside 2 defenders. Pops the ball back outside to Jack Cahalane. Cahalane looking for a shot himself. That's a great shot from the Cork Jewel under 20 star.
Yeah, really good finish there from Jack Cahalane, but it stemmed from a brilliant take out midfield, one-handed take from Mark Collins. Worked a good ball in, Michael wins it and pops it off to Jack Cahalane, who kicks a good score. It's a good start to the second half by Castlehaven. 2 points lead. Éire Og struggling a little bit on their own kick out in the second half, which is a strength, and I'm surprised they aren't using this more often. They use the short kick out an awful lot against us in the second half, and that's one where they've guaranteed possession for themselves.
Something interesting as well, which is actually off shot, as Castlehaven have turned over that ball through Brian Hurley. I'm going to tell you what it is in a moment. It's Jack Cahalane now in possession, breaking inside Éire Og territory, offloading to Mark Collins, sees the runner inside. Cathal Maguire off the left peg from Cathal Maguire, but not the greatest shot, going left and wide. Just something off here, John, and you're going to see it here on the left hand side, just to tell our viewers. Anthony Seymour is kind of stepping up towards the 45 metre line, kind of breaking those spaces for the long kick out, both left and right, and playing as a roaming defender.
Yeah, the old sweeper keeper system. You've seen it
against, of course, in the Munster
exactly.
final.
Classic example down in Killarney. I don't think Anthony's or Castlehaven are pushing up quite to the extent that Kerry did that time. Chance here for Cullum.
Colin O'Callaghan breaking inside. Damien Cahalane gone inside the 45 metre line, looking to try and shovel off 2-3, passes the 4th defender outside, playing ball in, going in. Oh, what a score! Individualism at its best from Colin O'Callaghan.
Yeah, and look, that's a positive for Éire Og. Obviously that Cullum is firing in, but it's something that's positive for Cork as well. If Cullum can rediscover his form, he had a couple of hamstring injuries which has slowed him down a little bit, but he's showing today what he's capable of. I think the dry day and the hard sod suits him well.
Matt Collins with a measured ball inside in towards Brian Hurley. He's broken inside John Cooper. He's broken inside a second tackle. Hurley looking to try and get a quick reply here for the Haven, and they've got it. That's a great response from the Éire Og score, and the lead back out to 2 points.
Yeah, good response, as you said. Again, it's the direct kick pass from Mark Collins into Brian Hurley. We've seen it countless times over the years from Castlehaven. And Brian, good ball in delivery early. He's a handful for even for someone as good as John Cooper.
So similar to the first half, 4 scores in the opening 4 minutes of the first half. We've got that in the second half, as this time the kick out is over towards that far side and towards Jerome O'Kelleher. Just dummies the hand pass inside and pops the ball back outside to, it's like Dermot O'Hurley over on that far side, and back to McGoldrick, who offloads outside again to O'Hurley. 2 points the difference in this Group B clash here in Enniskeane, live on the Irish Examiner. Ball's breaking inside. Dermot O'Hurley still going in. There's a lazy hand in there from Jack Cahalane. O'Hurley still on the run, bringing inside that 45 metre line, offloading outside. Brian Hurley on the loop. The Hurley from Éire Og. Oh, just going to the right hand side and wide.
Yeah, Dermot Hurley carried that ball a long way and popped off a good pass. Brian Hurley, he's a good player. I think Éire Og are going to need him to come into this game a little bit more and have some of the impact that his namesake on the other end is having. But the scores just seem to be that easier to come by for Castlehaven.
David McCarthy.
Huge space inside in front of Brian now.
David McCarthy, it was Christ for picking the ball off the ground, but if anything, it would have been a very harsh call because it was a bit of an accidental move. As Matt Collins throws that ball, he scooped the ball, and he's livid with Birmingham.
Yeah.
But I don't blame the referee, because referees, their prerogative is that it must be a clear action.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if Matt Collins, whether he did, I presume he did, but he blindsided the referee.
Yeah, I think, look, it was one of those ones that was 50-50 whether it was a throw or not. I think there might have been a little bit of element of James knowing that there was potentially a free there beforehand. But like you said, so far, James has been having a good game and has let the game flow, and it's been all the more enjoyable because of that.
As Éire Og looking to try and work into space, as Jerome Kelleher gets a hand in the face there from Roland Welton. And Damien Cahalane's coming away with the breaking ball after the interception from Roland Welton. And that ball's walked inside towards the 45 metre line. Here's Cathal Maguire just steadies his feet a small bit, sees a man running over towards that far side. Great run over there from Conor Driscoll, and he just hand passes the ball in. And is it gone in? It is. The umpire has gone for the white flag. Could have been a 3-pointer, but it's only a minor score for O'Driscoll.
Yeah, once again though, so much space for Castlehaven to exploit when they do move the ball quickly and in. That was another goal chance. Castlehaven have 2 goals on the board, conceivably could have 5.
Kick out from Chris Kelly over towards that far side. Super run over there by Colm O'Callaghan as Dave McCarthy commits to the tackle. Poor ball outside though from O'Callaghan, and found only green grass, and that allowed the blue and white of Castlehaven to break onto the ball. There's an extra man inside if they can work the overlap. Cahalan sees it inside. Conor O'Driscoll, well, not going shot across the goal, so O'Driscoll goes for a second hand pass to score. Done it once from the left and the second one from the right.
Yeah, probably the first mistake that Colm has made today. Won the kick out on the wing, but the hand pass went astray, and again wide open at the back. Castlehaven are exploiting it well. Again, a half a goal chance, but I think the right option from a tight angle there from Conor O'Driscoll extend the lead to 4 points.
Here's Chris Kelly with the kick out down the centre of the park. Dave McCarthy's going to pick up this one cleanly, and just before he played the ball, Colm O'Callaghan played the man from the mark, so that is a foul before the ball hit the ground. As Mark Collins takes this one quickly. There's a bit of an argy-bargy inside the 45-metre line. We're going to follow the ball for a second as this ball has been walked in here by David Welton. The fist pumps are going. He's got the score. And then Castlehaven lead out to 5 points.
Yeah, Castlehaven have made a change. They've put David McCarthy onto Colm O'Callaghan. David is a former rugby player, underage with Munster, so physically he won't back down from the challenge with Colm. Éire Og targeted from the kick out, but David just got in front and won it. And they worked the ball up the pitch, and Castlehaven are putting points on the board now and extended the lead back out to 5. So back into that situation, Éire Og really needs something from the next kick out or 2.
Substitution here. Jack Murphy is off. Obviously carrying an injury. Rian O'Flynn is into the game as play is going to resume from the kick out. Second water break in that Group C game. I can tell you Douglas are leading 9 points to 7 against Valley Rovers. Here in Enniskeane, 5 points is the differential as Éire Og now looking to try and get a quick score. Only got 1 point in this opening half so far through Colm O'Callaghan. Ball over in that far side of the field. Here's Rian O'Flynn, who's just come on as a substitute moment ago. John Cooper offloading inside of the goal opportunity of Colm O'Callaghan. Oh my God, right and wide, a golden opportunity. The goal at his mercy and blazed it wide.
Yeah, that feels like a big moment. It feels like a big moment in the game. Having Castlehaven made such a good start, Ron O'Toole's going to intercept this now.
Oh, it's a goal opportunity coming back on the cards here for Éire Og. Cross the face of the square into Brian Hurley. Super save inside there by Seymour, and it's gone over the bar, just tips it over. That's 2 goal chances for Éire Og. Could have been 6 points and only 1 resulting.
Yeah, I think it's a long time since I've seen a game with this many goal chances, but just go back to the first one. Brilliant run by John Cooper to lay it off to Colm O'Callaghan straight through on goal, and he'd be very disappointed he didn't hit the target. Then though, a mistake on the short kick out, seized upon by Ronan O'Toole, and another goal chance well saved by Anthony Seymour. Oh
dear, Jamie Walsh could be in trouble here. Well, referee is going to give him leniency and just say it's a benefit of the doubt of a pull of a jersey. And say he's giving him the marked warning as well.
Yeah, I think he was right with that one. It was a slightly clumsy tackle, but it definitely wasn't a 100% deliberate pull down as a black card offence. So I think James was right with that one.
Darren McCarthy offloading outside to Colm O'Callaghan. Pops that ball over towards that far side of the field as Darren McCarthy is on the loop. Jerome Kelleher playing it back outside to Roland O'Toole as Éire Og now just to try and exploiting space across the half back line. 11 minutes gone in the second half here. And this Bon Secures Premier Senior Football Championship clash here in Enniskeane. Daniel Goulding should say, I'll get it out eventually, is fouled by Rory Maguire just inside the 65-metre line. And not too many options here for Goulding under pressure, so he has to go backwards. Outside him is Kevin Hallisey. Éire Og now just trying to be patient, and we've seen this throughout the season in both their hurling and football games. They're always just trying to be patient. With the score will come when they work it. The ball's walked over towards that far side of the field. man breaking over towards that far side of the field. Ooh, was a leading elbow there from Dermot O'Hurley. He pops the ball back outside out towards, it looks like Rian O'Flynn, I think it is, and it is a score for an Éire Og point of view.
Yeah, well worked score in the end. Well kicked by the substitute of Flynn. A good response here from Éire Og again. You know, they're making it hard for themselves, consistently giving Castlehaven, 5-point advantage and trying to claw it back. That's very hard work and can be, very tiring.
These kickouts are going to be working here short for Anthony Seymour. He's gone out over the sideline, and it's an Éire Og man who's knocked it out over the sideline. And Shane Scanlon is sticking to his word. It's going to be a Castlehaven line ball. Jamie Walsh. Well, there was questions whether the 13 metres did the ball travel. Play continues on. Damien Cahalan looking for the younger brother Jack. Looking to try and take on Dermot O'Hurley for pace. He looks like he's going to match him, if not beat him for pace. Cahalan on a 35-yard run so far. Dummies. Plays the ball outside into space over here. Under pressure here is Michael Hurley. But Hurley getting a sublime score after a great run. Sorry, that was Conor Driscoll, I should say, after a great run from Jack Cahalan.
Yeah, and look, I think that's a slight difference there. Is like Éire Og are working that bit harder for their scores. It's a couple of kick passes up the pitch from Castlehaven. Good ball from Damien to Jack Cahalan. He ran at the defence and picked out a good pass and was well finished by Conor Driscoll. It was 3 points in the second half now.
Chris Kelly with the kick out down towards this near sideline. There was hands in there from Mark Collins. And the ball's after breaking down between Cathal Maguire to Jack Cahalan, offloading to Mark Collins. Sees pressure in front behind him. Beautifully picked out there by Jack Cahalan, the older brother calling it. Damien looking to try and play it. And you can see here the Hurley brothers looking to try and keep it easy, an easy ball, keep it simple, trying to keep possession. Over on that far side of the field, Michael Hurley looking to try and break inside that red wall from Ovens. Possession back outside now to Jack Cahalan. Under pressure now, offloading to Mark Collins and Cahalan doing the 1-2 back and forth between the two of them. There's a space inside here for Cathal Maguire, who's just hand passed the ball over the bar, and Castlehaven keeping the scoreboard ticking over.
They are keeping it ticking over, but those are gilt-edged goal chances. They're creating them with such ease. Kind of surprised again that Cahill didn't decide to go for goal there, because I think if they get a goal with one of these, it could kill the game off. They built up, they're back to the 5-point lead. It could have extended it to 7 instead. They've fisted over 3 points, I think, now in the second half and won in the first half from good chances.
What you said earlier on, John, there's been so many goal chances in this game. It's been incredible. I don't remember a game with... Have we had 10 or 12 goal chances already so far?
I'd say quite easily, yeah. Quite easily.
That free's been taken in there by Jack Cahalan, and beating the man to the punch there was Conor Driscoll. He's going V-line straight in, looking for goal, going to pop the ball in, and it's a repeat score here inside a minute for Cathal Maguire, hand passing the ball over the bar.
Yeah, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. So the fist pass option to take their points has been effective. Castlehaven, I think, 4 fisted points in the second half alone, creating chances with ease. The Éire Og defence are in 6s and 7s when Castlehaven go at them. It does look like from here you'd have to fancy Castlehaven to see it out.
Haven't come to the water break yet, as there's another substitution. Darren McCarthy for Éire Og is making his way off the field. We'll bring you the Éire Og substitute to come on momentarily, as this kick out lands short into the chest of Diarmuid Dineen. And that substitution, I can tell you, is Michael Corkery, who started the last game against Carby Rangers. So Corkery is in for Darren McCarthy. Possession with Éire Og now all the while. Conor McGoldrick offloading outside to Diarmuid Dineen. Inside towards the centre of the park, looking to try and break 2 tackles. A heavy hit there by Brian Hurley. Offloading the all ball. In possession now is Rian O'Flynn. Goal opportunity while ago. He's got a hand over the shoulder, but Flynn's going through the heart of this defence quite easily. John Cooper now seeing 1-2 tackles inside there, getting through him, offloading out towards Daniel Goulding. Didn't get a clean boot to it, but there was a second foul later in the phase of play, and that's allowing James Birmingham to give a free right in front of goal.
Yeah, they had the advantage from what was a definite foul on Rian O'Flynn. John Cooper took it on, and there was a tackle maybe up around the neck area, which James Birmingham has penalised, and Éire Og will be glad of it because they need to score.
So it's going to be an opportunity now for Daniel Goulding as we come to the second half water break momentarily. I'd say we could be taking it after this phase of play. Daniel Goulding about 25 yards out. Who's going to be stepping into this one and bisects those posts. That's a further score. Margin reduced down to 5 points now. 17 minutes gone in the second half. And actually, that's where the water break will happen. So, John Hayes, we're level at half time. There's now 4 points in it, 2-15 to 113.
Yeah, look, Castlehaven had
5 points even.
Yeah, Castlehaven had the better of that. That 15 minutes that after half time. Could have put more on the board. Like I said, there was goal chances there where they just elected to take the point. So they haven't quite killed off Éire Og as yet. We saw Éire Og after we were in a similar situation after the first water break in the first half. Can Éire Og push it on like they did after that, or will Castlehaven see it out? I think Castlehaven, just their ability to get scores and get scores quite easily. They've already kicked 215, which is a serious total. Obviously, Éire Og 113 is good scoring as well, but Castlehaven look like they can score almost every time they go down the pitch. So Éire Og are going to need to dominate possession and not give the opportunity for Castlehaven to get the scores if they're going to get back into this.
And just to remind the viewers at home, after 14 minutes, Castlehaven led Éire Og 2-5 to 1-1, but Éire Og from the 14th or the 15th minute on finished just 8 points to 1 in that closing second quarter.
Yeah, and they're going to need that, and they're probably going to need Ronan O'Toole and Colm O'Callaghan in particular to really thunder into this game again and finish as strongly as they were in the second quarter of the first half. Jack Murphy has gone off, which is, you know, it's a bit of a blow. Probably wasn't having as much of an influence as he would have liked to have. You know, not impossible that we might see him again for the end of the game because he is a good player. But they're going to need to start this last quarter strongly and get a couple of scores on the board. And maybe if they create another goal chance, they're going to have to take it this time because I do think they'll probably need a goal to claw this back.
I can tell you with 6 minutes left in the clock, the latest score is Douglas 10 points, Valley Rovers 9. So all to play for in that Group C game. And as we mentioned, every score matters going into round 3 because of the knockout stages, the way the points or the rankings are sorted out. So like every score here is still going to count, 215 to 113. It's been a highly entertaining game here in Enniskeane so far. And we still have nearly 13 minutes plus injury time still to go.
Yeah, and look, that's a huge game. Obviously, Valley Rovers had a massive result against Nemo Rangers in the first round, and Douglas had a win as well. But if Douglas can win that, you know, going into a game against Nemo Rangers in the last game, at least it gives them the cushion that okay, they're on 4 points and they have a great chance of going through anyway. Valleys will fancy their chances of winning the last game. So. But at the same time, if they can win that and finish up in 6 points, again, like I said, the carrot is there that you get straight into the semi-finals. So, you know, it is a very good system. It does mean that there's something on every game, and you have to play it to the last whistle because of the scoring difference, as you said.
And of course, relegation all counts as well. The bottom 2 teams in the championship fighting out for a relegation playoff to save their status for 2022. But that's for in a couple of weeks' time. For this moment, we're going to get this final quarter of this Group B Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship underway, and the kick-off from Seymour landing straight into the hands of the potent man Colm O'Callaghan, who saw Daniel Goulding. O'Callaghan is in, he's dummied the pass into the shot and goal. Great save by Seymour, bobbing like a pinball machine off the crossbar, it's in the back of the net. Oh, what a start to this final quarter we've got, and we're in for one heck of a finish.
Yeah, that's the goal that the game was crying out for. I think, you know, that really makes it interesting. Again, Colm O'Callaghan winning the kick out and just running directly. He's so quick, he's so strong. Took the shot, good save. I actually thought when he won the rebound he was fouled and it could have been a penalty, but it just broke. Then to Dylan Foley, who crashed in off the underside of the bar. This kick out is big now.
Kick out from Seymour down towards the centre of the park. It's Éire Og who have won the kick out. Only 2 points between them now. It's been the narrowest margin we've seen in the game since the 34th minute. So a lot to play for now. We're in for an entertaining finish here live on the Irish Examiner as Conor McGoldrick is in possession and offloads it outside to Ronan O'Toole. Dermot O'Hurley, he now is Éire Og showing real good character to try and finish out this game. Here's John Mullins now. He's got fresh legs. He hasn't been doing too much running from a defensive point of view, so he just works it back outside into space. And Éire Og now have been quite patient all afternoon, probably even having more possession in this game. They're trying to keep a hand. There's a hand in there from Mark Collins. He's turned over the ball, and Jack Cahalane under pressure. And the space galore now from a Castlehaven point of view. Cahalane is down on his haunches. James Birmingham says, come on, let's go, let's keep playing. As Cahalane is looking at his, not happy with something happening on his face. He's happy enough to leave run on. But a heavy hit inside there by Ronan O'Toole. The turnover, Cahalane, and a chance now for Daniel Goulding to try and set up another play. Here's Colm O'Callaghan. As Cahalane's down on the floor once again, but referee's happy enough to leave play continue on. Colm O'Callaghan offloading out towards Michael Corkery. Great hand off there from Dylan Foley. 50-50 ball, or great fist away there by the Castlehaven man. And there's a clash inside there, and it's going to be, what's the clash of heads? It looks like it might be a clash of heads actually. Yeah. Brian Hurley from Éire Og and the Castlehaven defender.
Yeah, I'm not sure, is he given a free out? Maybe there was contact late after Roland Welton got a fist to that ball. Or is it just a clash of heads? No, it's a yellow card for Brian Hurley, so I assume it's a Castlehaven free. Chance there for Éire Og to get another score that would have brought it back to the minimum, but it's a good turnover now for Castlehaven. Important turnover for them as well. Next score I think is huge in this game again.
I can tell you this referee is stalling play because is there a substitution? I think Roland Welton actually might be coming off the field actually, so there is a Castlehaven substitution. We'll gather that number in a moment. I can tell you there's only 2 points in it now between Douglas and Valley Rovers. Douglas is extending their lead as they go into injury time in that game. As that ball's walked over towards that far side of the field, Jack Cahalane's ended up on the floor. Play continues on. He's been harried and hassled. He's getting an awful physical beating there. And he's down. And the referee is going to stop play here once again.
Yeah, Jack Cahalane let the ball off, and I think Danny was just committed, and it was, it was a shoulder, but he was a fraction late with it. Probably get a card for it. Jack Cahalane's taken a little bit of he's taken a little bit of a physical hammering there in the last couple of minutes. But the game is hotting up nicely going into the last 10 minutes, and
there's a yellow card being brandished there to
Daniel
Goulding.
Yeah. So look, it's hotting up nicely. Castlehaven, like I said, look like they could score every time they come down. So Éire Og will need 1 or 2 turnovers defensively in this last 10 minutes.
It looks like the Castlehaven substitution there was Robbie Minahan, who's in, looks like for Roland Welton. There is Jack Cahalane, now looks a little bit more fresher than what he was moments ago. It's Damien Cahalane under pressure. Not a whole lot of space. He's gone into the tackle now, and that ball was thrown, but he was blindsiding the referee. Ball's walked out towards Conor O'Driscoll, and that's good pressure from the Éire Og defence. Castlehaven have been wasteful this afternoon, John.
Yeah, they have had chances. I think the main waste that they've had is that the goal chances that they elected not to go for. That was a chance. Conor O'Driscoll's had a very good second half, but I think he was under pressure there on his weak side and didn't pull it off. It's a good kick out here.
It's a good kick out because Damien Cahalane can barely walk in the centre of the field. Dermot Hurley, he got a free run to claim that kick out, and he's trying to burn the legs off Michael Hurley, which is one of the hardest things to do here in Cork, because Michael Hurley's got serious pace. But one man who's got a great kick here is Ronan O'Toole, taking on Jack Cahalane. O'Toole fending off the under-20 star, pops that ball outside, looking for Dylan Foley, the second goal scorer for Éire Og. Works the ball outside to O'Toole, not the greatest of passes, but finds Daniel Goulding, who offloads to Brian Hurley, and around it goes to Dylan Foley, under pressure, going down by the byline, and they've got the possession, walking inside to Rian O'Flynn, going in by the bylines. There's a goal on here, he takes the shot and takes the score. Great hand-fisted pass from Rian O'Flynn.
Good score there. I know he fisted over, it was probably the right option. It was a tight angle for the goal, and Rian O'Flynn has made an impact for Éire Og since he came in. He's won the good ball, and he looks like he's very, very capable of running at people.
And Éire Og are in here, sorry John to cut over, but they're in here with another opportunity with Daniel Goulding just scuppered a chance, but he's got the possession once again as Jerome O'Callaghan, I should say, pops the ball to Ronan O'Toole. Colm O'Callaghan looking to try and level up this game. Saves himself, looking to try and get the score. No, it's gone left and wide. That would have been a levelling score inside the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed with that, I'd say. Colm, you know, he had half a chance maybe run at them and he's so hard to stop, but he decided to just take the shot from the 35-40 yards, you know, capable of it, just pulled it a little bit. Would have been a good score to equalise. Chance was there, but like Colm's had a fierce game, so you couldn't be too critical of him.
As the kick goes over towards that fast, what a catch, what a feeling mark, claimed by Mark Collins in the centre of the field, turns it into attack straight away. David McCarthy's gone sprinting up in front of him. Over there to meet him is John Cooper, and Cooper's done very well. That's a great hit over there from John Cooper.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's brilliant action, and you know, the kick out, Mark Collins, like you said, with a great mark. He gave a good kick pass, but it was just a really good bit of defending from John Cooper to read it, and then, you know, physical tackle and force David McCarthy out over the line. And here is John Cooper again carrying the ball forward.
Oh, we're in for a dramatic finish here because it's not quite over. Just a point in it. We're inside nearly the last 5 minutes as possession is walked in towards the centre of the park over on that far side. Cooper offloading the ball outside to Brian Hurley, settling himself as Reno Flynn. Got a score moments ago. This is turning in, but it's not turning enough. Turning right and wide. Chances from both sides now being scuppered.
Yeah, again, 2 chances there from Éire Og in good shooting positions. Maybe Reno Flynn had more time to create a better chance. I don't think he's as comfortable off the right as he's off the left. But look, you couldn't blame him for having a go as well. 35 yards out. Shane Nolan coming into the full forward line for Castlehaven here. And
Jamie Walsh is the man who's been replaced. Of course, he got cramped moments ago. Well, John, there's been drama here throughout the afternoon. There's drama between Douglas and Valley Rovers. Douglas went 3 points up in the 33rd minute. In the 36th minute, Valley Rovers have got a goal to go all square.
Oh, okay. That's big.
There's something after happening over on that far side of the field, and Eire Og aren't happy with it. But Shane Scanlon's got his flag up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
It's going to be out for a line ball. It's Castlehaven line ball. Still a point in it here, John.
Yeah, look, all to play for here. Sounds like it's all to play for. I'm not sure if that game is over, but that would be a big, you know, if Valley Rovers can get a result there.
You won't believe it, Douglas have got a score in the 8th minute of injury time to win the game.
Okay, wow. Well, that's big for Douglas, like I said, because they faced Nemo in the last game, whereas Valley Rovers probably fancy their chances of getting a win against Carrigaline, I think. So, yeah, you know, it's good action here today. Great action here, and it sounds like a very dramatic game in Parky Ring as well.
And we've got a dramatic finish here as well. There's a foul here on Brian Hurley. He's got a free shot to go for. It's going to the right hand side and wide. That stat won't count. Referee calling it back for a free. Of course, don't forget, only one group winner will qualify for an automatic berth in a semi-final, and that's what these teams are playing out for here today. Of course, Douglas now with that win go to the top of the group. Nemo can't catch him, of course, you know, no matter what will happen. So whoever wins between this game is in with a chance in round 3 to try and win that game, to win that semi-final berth.
Yeah, it's unlikely. Like you said, Douglas will be expected to get a win against Carrigaline, which would leave them on 6 points, which gives you a good chance of going straight to the semi-final. The game here, look, it's down to the wire, and it makes such a difference because, you know, if you win it, again, like you said, you have a great chance of being in the semi-final with 4 points. Because if you're in 2 points and you need something in the last game, you know, Éire Og will have to get a result against Noosastown, and Castlehaven will have to get a result against us as well. So, all to play for. Obviously, I have a vested interest here, but you know, it's a serious game.
What a catch there, in fairness, by Dumbler Hurley, but there was a Castlehaven hand to deny the mark, and John Cooper is going through the centre of the park. There's a hand over the shoulder there from Brian Hurley as that ball is walked out over towards that far side. 2-16 to 2-14, 2 in it. 22 points played, 20 as Colm O'Callaghan has turned his man inside. He's going in, bearing down goal, going across the face of goal, but Anthony Seymour is there to get a hand in on it, and a chance now for Castlehaven to try and settle themselves back down. We're inside the final 2 minutes of this game. There's a push in the back there on the Castlehaven defender, and a chance now for the Haven to try and clear their lines. Mark Collins, well, he never saw the man coming from behind him. He just scooped that ball over the top, and a chance now here for Minahan Minahan, I should say, to try and run through the centre of the park. Here's Conor O'Driscoll working outside to Brian Hurley. Hurley taking on his man, beating John Cooper, going for the shot. Hurley, exquisite stuff from Brian Hurley.
Yeah, look, that's a really good score from Brian. It's what he's capable of. I thought there's going to be interception here from the kick out.
There is. Minahan is inside the 13-metre line after picking up that kick out over on that far side of the field. He's been held up over on that far side. Colin Maguire now looking to try and take the score out to a 4-point lead. Minahan's just trying to work the score outside. Back outside to David Welton. Brian Hurley shovels the man outside, pops the ball back outside. Jack Cahalan, the under-20 Jules star, looking for his score. He's gone for the flag, I think the umpire is. He is. It's over the post. It's inside the post, I should say. And Jack Cahalan extending the lead out to 4 points.
Yeah, Éire Óg had a chance down at the other end with Colin O'Callaghan. I thought there was a hint of a foul and it could have been a free in and an easy free. But instead of that, Castlehaven have taken down the ball down the pitch and kicked two good scores.
As we come into injury time, Shane Nolan's got a hand on that ball and turned over here as Castlehaven swarming forward in numbers. Conor O'Driscoll looking to try and put the ribbon and bow on top of the cake, and they've got another score inside there as we enter injury time.
Yeah, look, I think they're the insurance scores. Éire Óg had their chance to bring it back to the minimum there. Didn't take it, and Castlehaven go down 3 quick 4 points. It's kind of what we said all the way through. Every time they come down, they look like they're capable of scoring. They've kicked good scores there, and I think that'll see them home.
And I can't emphasise enough how important are the scores in every game, and this is no different. Éire Óg now need a couple of scores to try and finish out this game strongly. Ball across the face of the 20-metre line. Daniel Goulding, well, he's ended up on the floor. There was a hand across the body there by Mark Collins. He just shepherded that away from the referee's eyes, and it's a chance for the Haven to try and get away once again through Damien Cahalan.
Yeah, it looked a foul there on Daniel, I thought, but not given again. And Castlehaven are finishing the stronger here.
As the Haven now looking to just try and wind down the clock. Damien Cahalan, that was a 50-50 ball in the centre of the park. And the free against the Haven here, obviously. The referee has done something. Damien Cahalan, well, the Castlehaven bench aren't happy with what Damien Cahalan done there, just to try playing a risky pass. Robbie Millen getting some attention there, as is Ronan O'Toole, I make it out to be. In fact, Reno Flynn, I should say it is. As there is some afters inside at the exclusion zone. I'm sure the umpires are watching it with an extra pair of eyes down below. Interested spectators, no doubt, the men into the 2 white coats. So we've over a minute gone in injury time here as Ronan O'Toole is gone inside by the looks of it. In fact, he's taking the kick out, a free kick, I should say. And towards Dylan Foley now. Éire Óg just need another couple of scores. Whether they can win that game or not is another story. Ronan O'Toole under pressure now, looking to try and work it into space. We're coming up to the conclusion of the 2nd minute of injury time. Here's Conor McGoldrick working it down this byline. Is there an opportunity of a score to be worked here from an Éire Óg point of view? As Castlehaven press out, Colm O'Callaghan working it across. Ronan O'Toole, there's space over on that far side. Dermot O'Hurley settling himself outside the D, looking to try and get a score. He's gone for the flag. Great score from Dermot O'Hurley.
Yeah, really good score. Well worked, patience. It's an interesting one. Just wondering, would Éire Óg be tempted to put Colm O'Callaghan at the edge of the square for the last couple of minutes, see if they could hit him with a good ball in.
We're in the 63rd minute of this game. Bit more time to be added on, I would suspect, as the kick out from Seymour over towards that far side. Great breakdown there by John Cooper, and Brian Hurley took a Éire Óg man out of it, off the field of play, or off the play. Oh, is that a 3rd man tackle? The ball wasn't there to be competed. Referee is stopping play here, and I wouldn't be surprised here, John, if he gives a black card for a 3rd man tackle.
I'm not sure. I think he might get a yellow. I think the ball was broken by John Cooper. Brian was momentum probably took in, and he hit a bit of a belt, but it looks like a yellow. Yeah.
She's giving him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion as the free quickly taken. Trying to bring John Cooper into play as Castlehaven now flooding players all the way back inside their own half of the field. That ball has ended up on the floor. Was picked up by Daniel Goulding. Worked outside. Colm O'Callaghan. Here is John Cooper back outside to Reno Flynn. Flynn working short, looking for Goulding. They're walking away inside. Hallisey pops the ball inside long in towards Goulding at the edge of the square. Goulding going for a shot and goal. Gone over the bar, just skimming the top of the crossbar. Could have been a tasty finish, but we're still not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, I think it was Dylan Foley on that occasion, and he won the ball. A good turn and a good effort. Just cleared the crossbar. Half a chance for goal, but good work from Dylan Foley.
So Dylan Foley being awarded that score. A goal in it, 2:19 to 2:16. Referee calls a halt to proceedings, and Castlehaven coming out of it a war-battled field here in Enniskeane with a 3-point victory. Hard fought, hard won, and the Haven go through to the third round with a chance of claiming that one automatic semi-final berth.
Yeah. Look, a brilliant game of football. Both teams gave it absolutely everything. The scoring, you can see it there, 2:19 to 2:16. It's a hurling score in 60 minutes of football. I suppose the flip side of that is defensively, neither side will be particularly happy with how they defended and the amount of chances they coughed up. But, let's look on the positive and look at all the good football that was played and the good scores that were taken. Castlehaven will be delighted. That's 4 points on the board. That'll take you into the quarterfinals at least on most occasions for Éire Og. I think they get to take a week off now between their, in their busy schedule, which I'm sure their bodies will need, and then they'll face into the last round of the hurling and the last round of the football, needing to get a result against Newcestown.
So all in all, they have 2 points on the board. Éire Og, all not lost for them though, because they have to face Newcestown in round 3. So obviously the game tomorrow has an influential part, because neither Carby Rangers or Newcestown have a score on the board. Tomorrow they'll have points on the board, whoever picks it up. So a lot to play for still for Éire Og, and based on this performance that we've seen today, you'd give them a chance in round 3.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So look, they've come up now and they've they've beaten us and they've taken Castlehaven all the way today. Chances there for them towards the end. Chances for Castlehaven for goals previously, but look, they'll be looking at it and say we played a lot of good football, but defensively we're going to have to tighten the ship in the full back line. That's the balance you play, or the balance you need to strike between attacking and defending. They've only lost by 3 points to Castlehaven, who are beaten in this year's county final and are perennial contenders, so they won't be too disheartened by this, I would say. But like I said, it'll be all on the line for them against Newcestown.
Yeah, and of course, your own game has an effect, as we mentioned about the group stages, and that then will lead here playing Castlehaven in round 3. So that'll be a big ask. Big local derby, of course. This is the West Cork group. It's well known now at this stage. To be down in Lepp, I think it's in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, three weeks' time in Lepp. And look, it's almost the same group for us as we had last year. And obviously, look, we didn't get a result against Castlehaven or Newcestown. Newcestown beat us well, and Castlehaven beat us relatively comfortably in the end of that game. So, it's a tall order for us to reverse those results. But look, tomorrow is all we can worry about. I know Newcestown will be coming and bringing everything they can to the table tomorrow, so we're going to have to match that and beat it as well. So tomorrow's a huge game for us. It's a huge game for Newcestown.
Who stood out for you here this afternoon?
I thought there was a lot of really good football played on both sides. I thought the two Hurleys, Michael Hurley started very well and had 1-2 on the board early on. Brian probably came into it more then as the game progressed and got some great scores. To be fair, Cathal Maguire and Conor O'Driscoll both chipped in. Conor O'Driscoll might have got 4 or 5 points. Mark Collins did his usual work around the middle for Castlehaven as well. It's hard to say either defence will be too thrilled with how they went. On the Éire Og side, I thought Ronan O'Toole, especially in the first half, but all the way through, was effective. John Cooper was probably the best defender that was on show. They had to move from centre back to try and pick up Brian Hurley, which was a difficult task, but he still managed to get forward on a few occasions. And then I thought Colin O'Callaghan was outstanding for the majority of the game. Had a few chances there towards the end that went astray for him, but caused Castlehaven all sorts of trouble running at them. So, I thought they were probably the standout players today. And
of course, you've got Conor Cahalan to add into the mix now as well. He'll come back for that round 3 fixture. Look, John, thanks for joining us this afternoon. You got a sneaky eye in for ahead of the 3 weeks' time, but best Best of luck tomorrow, of course. Yourselves
Appreciate
in Newcestown and Carby Rangers, 2 o'clock game tomorrow. And of course, thanks very much to all the gang behind the scenes as well. Thanks to Larry back at base and desk, and of course to John on camera, Raf on sound. And of course, don't forget tomorrow we've got a second helping of the Bon Secure's football championships. We'll be dropping down to the Senior A Football Championship in Glantan as Clyde Rovers take on Mallow. A game that'll throw in at 2 o'clock. We'll be on air from around 1:35. But from here in Enniskeane, it is the Haven who come away with the spoils after a thrilling finish, a 3-point victory over Éire Og, and they go top of the table in Group B, with Douglas going top of the table in Group C. For myself, Patrick Mulcahy, from John and all the team here on the Irish Examiner, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all again tomorrow live from Glantan from 1:30.